This is like the worst lighting in the world. I look like I'm black and white. But I'm sure nobody's gonna watch this. But when's the last time I posted on YouTube? 2022? Something like that? I don't even remember. It's been so long. Hi. I'm here. And it's been a crazy, crazy ride for me this past couple of years. First off, we have a new president. Thoughts on that? Yeah. Um, and I have not been on YouTube. I think since like 2022. I think like I just said, I could be wrong. Somebody fact check that. But this isn't going live until tomorrow at 9:45 in the morning. So, but I kind of just wanted to come on here and talk. Um, so, if you guys don't know, I'm just gonna get right into it. I haven't been on YouTube, like I just said, and that's thoroughly because of the reason I really just haven't had the energy, and I haven't had the mental capacity to do it. If you guys don't know, which I'm sure you don't, but if you follow me on Instagram, which you guys should, um, my dad unfortunately passed away in 2021. I'm not going to give the exact date that he passed, but again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen it. And he actually passed away on my ex-boyfriend's 18th birthday. Now, that was rough. I've never been. I've been okay with death. I've had a lot of death in my life, especially like with my pets. But when it came to my dad, I couldn't believe it, and I think it was more the fact that I didn't want to believe it. Um, but I was with my ex at the time when we were together at the time. If you guys don't know, I'm not going to say his name, but for the sake of privacy. But we were going to the aquarium, I believe in Pennsylvania. I can't remember the name of the aquarium. It was somewhere in PA. It was like an hour away from my house. And if you guys don't know, I was living in Seaside in my last video. Man, that's a wild ride. I don't live in Seaside anymore. I was supposed to move to North Carolina. That was a shit show, which I'll get into later, but that's even if I really decide to. I'm not gonna get like into too much detail. Um, but me and my ex were feeding turtles at the time because that's what he wanted to do for his birthday, which of course we did. And because I had my phone in my back pocket, I kept it on the sidelines. So obviously my phone wouldn't get wet, fall in, blah blah blah. And my phone kept ringing and ringing and ringing, and obviously I didn't hear it because I have a bad habit of keeping my phone on silent. Yeah. Um, and I looked at the text messages from my mother, And she said, "You need to call me right now." And of course I did. And when I answered, she's like, "You need to come home right now." I hope you guys can hear me. My mom's asleep, so let's see if I can. But she said, "You need to come home right now. Your dad's gone." And obviously, my dad um, usually would go to bars like at Jimbo's. If you guys live in Seaside, you know Jimbo's. I was like, "Well, what do you mean he's gone?" And he's like, she said to me, "He's passed away." And I was really confused. I was like, "What?" She goes, "I came home from work and he is on the floor, deceased." I haven't talked about this since it happened. Um, so of course I rushed home. I still didn't really believe it in my head. I don't think it's the fact of. I think it was the fact of I didn't want to believe it again. And when I got there, the ambulance was there, and of course the people who have the body bags. I don't know their names. Morticians, I guess. Um, I think it was real when I saw my dad being reeled away in a body bag. And right then and there, I lost it. I It sunk in that he was really gone. You guys don't know. My dad was like my best friend. I'm an only child. So I was pretty much daddy's little girl. And yeah, it hurt a lot. I was gonna make a YouTube video about it a couple weeks later, but I couldn't. Only because my cat Tabby, who her name is tattooed on my arm, which I've gotten more tattoos, I think, since I don't even think, because 2022 I had this one and then this one. But I don't think I've actually ever physically shown everyone my tattoos. I've gotten more, which I'll get into later or not. I don't know. I might make like a separate video talking a little bit about more about my life. But so my cat Tabby, I literally had since I was like 2 or 3 years old. So, and I'm 24 now. I'm gonna be 25 next year. Yes, mid 20s. I'm getting up there. um, she was getting old. Obviously, if you guys know, old cats, they don't really eat all that much, constantly drinking water. And she wasn't really using the litter box. So a month after my dad passed away, we ended up putting her down. And it was a decision that me and my mom both agreed on. It wasn't a good decision, but it was the right decision. So yeah, that happened. Thanksgiving obviously wasn't the same, and neither was Christmas. So, but Last time I was on YouTube, I was working at Casino Pier as a ride operator. I quit Labor Day weekend. I actually sent my boss an email because I was tired of being worked like a dog. And I'm not afraid to say that because I was. If you guys don't know, I have cerebral palsy. I dragged my right leg. I've had surgery. I had to have surgery when I was a little kid. Um, and I dragged my right leg. That's simply it. But I still work. But they would have me operate like 2 to 3 kiddie rides at a time. Mind you, it's the middle of summer, so it's like 95, 96 degrees out, and I'm operating 2 to 3 rides at a time. I could have easily hurt myself. I could have hurt somebody else, and I was tired of it. So Labor Day weekend, I sent an email and I quit. Then a month later, after my dad passed in September, I started working at Wawa. And if you guys live in New Jersey, I believe they've started building like throughout, like down south. I think in Florida too. Let me know. Yeah, if you guys know what Wawa is, some convenience store, gas and all that, food, subs, all that fun stuff. So yeah, I started working at the one in Toms River when I lived in Seaside. And then eventually, because my mom was working the morning shift, she did 6 a.m. to 1. I was doing 3 to 9, 3 to 10, at night. Um, she would get up at 1. She would leave at 1, immediately come home, get me, turn around, and then bring me to work for 3 o'clock. And then because I don't work till 9, 10 o'clock at night, I don't get home till almost 11, 11:30. But yeah, it was a struggle. So I eventually went to morning shift, 6 a.m. At my mom's one in Bayville. The first day I worked there, the first day I worked first shift, I passed out because I went to the gym 2 days prior. I started going to the gym with my mom like a week prior. Um, um, and like I said, when I started the first day of morning shift at Wawa, passed out. And then the next day I got COVID. I went 2 years without COVID. Got it in 2022. Yeah. 2022, I believe it was when I got COVID. Because when I went to Disney with my ex, I had to get the Johnson & Johnson shot, I think it was, in 2021. And in order for me to get on the plane, I had to get the shot. So, so there's that justification. Also, this is the worst lighting. I'm watching SpongeBob. You can't see it, but I can't turn the light on because my mom is sleeping because the light that's sitting next to me, this is hella bright. And I'm currently charging my computer. So, yeah, there's that. What was I saying? So, yeah, I ended up getting COVID that day. Now, my mom is a hardworking woman. She just turned 60 this year. So she turned 59, I believe, that year. Possibly 58. I think she was 58. Now, my mom works 6 to 1. She doesn't anymore. She had to change her schedule, but that's irrelevant. So she used to work 6 to 1 Monday to Friday. And eventually she went to work at 6 a.m. We leave at 4:45 every morning, and she came home. It was like 6:30. My mom slept from 6:30 a.m. to like 5:30 at night. She almost slept for a full 12 hours. And she knew that she was sick because she's never, ever, ever done that. So we ended up getting a COVID test the next day. Lo and behold, I got COVID. Thank God it wasn't bad. Me and my mom quarantined. She would stay in the living, and because the house that we lived in, I did a house tour when I lived in Seaside. Go to my channel if you guys want to see the house tour. You could see how small it is. So I would stay in my room, she would stay in the living room, and then go into her room and go to sleep. So the day that we found out we had COVID, we went to Acme and got cough medicine, disinfectant wipes, things like that. Nothing crazy. And we just quarantined. That was it, and it was rough because the quarantine that I did, the COVID that I got, all I wanted to do was sleep. I just felt drained all the time, and it sucked. It really sucked. Yeah, it was not fun. Sorry, I'm just checking to make sure everything's still good. Okay, I'm doing a live stream. This is literally the only way it would let me talk. Is doing a live stream. Nobody's watching. I don't really care. It's getting published tomorrow, so. Um, so yeah, that was fun. I got COVID. Um, Now we're skipping to 2023 because not much really happened after that. The end of 2020, the middle of 2022, I had to put my cat down. 22, I believe it was. Yeah, because I didn't have. So prior to getting COVID in July, I had to put my cat down because she ended up having kidney stones or failure. I think it was kidney failure. It might have been kidney stones. I don't remember. But the night prior, the night before we were supposed to bring her to the vet to get her put down, my other cat, again, if you follow me on Instagram, you've seen this. Um, she was sitting in the litter box, and we didn't know why. And when my mom took her out of the litter box, she kind of like spazzed out. And she was only like that far away from the floor. And she ended up spazzing, and she passed away on the couch within like 15 minutes. So we actually had two cats pass away within like a 24-hour time period, which we thought was a little creepy. But yeah, there's that. So the end of 2022, my cousin, who we shall not name, texted my mom asking if we wanted to move to North Carolina to live in her old house because she got a new house. I was a little leery about that because me and XYZ had just broken up, which, if you guys are curious, we broke up December 2021 because, I was still coping with the fact that my dad had just passed away. Um, and I had to put my cat down a month later, and I was just, all this crap was just like piling and piling up. It was my brain. I had a mental breakdown almost every single night, and it was rough. So him and I just decided to break up. It was rough, that's for sure, because this guy was He treated me like I was a princess, literally. Um, I've said this like 4 to 5 times, but if you follow me on Instagram, you guys can actually go. I haven't deleted any pictures that I've made with him, and I probably won't. Even if I get a new boyfriend, I won't do it. If you guys go to my Instagram, you guys can go back to 2020 when we like first got together and then see the progress. Yeah, so there's that. I, for one, didn't take it very well, but neither did he. But we ended up getting back together almost a year later in October. Actually, it might have even been 2 years later. We ended up getting back together, I think, yeah. Back together in 2022, so a year later. And in December, my mom made the choice that she wanted to move to North Carolina and move into the house that my cousin wanted us to live in. And plus, we were already leaving, put it that way, our old house. Couldn't afford it anymore, Rent was going up, shit like that. So we decided to do it. Now, we hired a U-Haul. That was a whole process, because obviously it was like $2,000, something like that. And because it was such a high cost, obviously the banks think it's fraud when you're trying to take that amount of money out. And yeah, it just wasn't a good time. So we got to the U-Haul. It was like 7:30. Banks didn't open until like 8, 9 o'clock. So we wanted to be on the road by 10. We weren't on the road till almost like noontime, 11:30, 12. So that was a setback. We were supposed to get into North Carolina, I think, by like 8:39, something like that. We didn't pull until we constantly kept stopping. By the way, if you don't know, I have 5 cats. I had 5 cats. I had 5 cats at the time. How many cats did I have? I don't even remember. Honestly, my mind is so much shit has happened. I had cats. I don't remember how many. 2, 3, 4, 5. I don't know. I really don't remember. Don't question it. But that was the whole process. Then we had to we stopped almost like every hour, whether it was to go to the bathroom, a rest stop, get something to eat. We pulled into freaking North Carolina. It was like midnight. We got to her house. It was 1:30, almost 2 a.m. I have asthma. I can't be around mold. I can't be around a lot of dirt, dust, shit like that. Because if I breathe it in, it'll hurt. Especially mold. Mold will kill you. Because it's mold. It's bad. You cannot breathe it in. It's toxic. And I don't want to talk bad about my cousin. I don't. I love her. However, we had no money when we got there. We used all of it to make the trip down there. Now, mind you, it's 2 in the morning. We're all exhausted. And the house was in shambles. My room that I was supposed to live in wasn't even ready. It had all tools, nothing. I don't even think it had a floor. It was just like broken up tile. And my bathroom just had a tub. I had no toilet. I don't even think I had a sink. Yeah. The floor that we walk, when you first walk in, The floor going into my mom's bedroom felt like it was going to cave in. Yeah. And then we lifted up like where the window is above she had a bunch of rat traps, mouse traps, by the way. Um, Probably shouldn't be getting this much into detail, but who cares? She's probably never gonna watch this, and if she does, it's in the past. It's over. Forgive and forget. Well, I forgive, but I just can't forget, But there was on the windowsill, so it was like mold city. We didn't know. As soon as I walked in the house, I felt dizzy. I felt very lightheaded. I couldn't even stand. I was like, everything was spinning because we didn't have any money for a hotel. We had to sleep on the rock hard tile floor. Mind you, it was December and it was ice. I believe it was after Christmas and it was cold. It was very cold. We left our jobs because we were going to work down in North Carolina. It just wasn't fun. I don't know how long this live stream is going to be, so we'll see. Yeah, it just wasn't a good time. I was on the phone with my boyfriend at the time till like 3 in the morning. We didn't go to bed till almost 5 a.m. We let out 2 cats out, and one was so sick she ran. We couldn't find her for a good like 4 or 5 hours, for like an hour or two. Then we discovered there was a hole behind the cabinet that goes to underneath the house. We heard noise. We thought the cat got outside. So we bolted outside. Keep in mind, it's like 4 in the morning. We didn't get an inkling of sleep. We were up all day, all night. And it was just not fun. It was horrible. We went to look underneath the house, and the house was flooded. So now we're thinking that we lost 2 of our cats. They were behind the counter the whole time. So when my other cousin came, because the one who was going to let us live in the house, she basically, it was a whole fight, and it was bad. There was a lot of anxiety, a lot of fighting. It was just not a good environment. So we get the cats, we get them in a cage. Sorry, thought there was something on my arm. We didn't know what to do. We had no money. Now it's 7 in the morning. We only got like an hour of sleep. And it just... So we ended up deciding just to leave our stuff in North Carolina. And I mean all of our clothes, all of our furniture, the beds. I mean, my Nintendo Switch was in there. Everything was in that, whatchamacallit. So now skip to when we leave North Carolina. We were supposed to take I-95 in Virginia, I think it was. Excuse me. We kept going in circles, and I mean circles. Excuse me. Um, it wasn't fun. We didn't get into Jersey until almost 11 o'clock at night. We stayed at my mom's friend's house from December. I think it was December up until July. Yeah. So we stayed in my mom's friend. That's a whole other story. That's a whole other problem, because she has kids, obviously. That I'm not getting into that. So we had to live with her. That was a nightmare. Not a nightmare, but it wasn't. We were definitely at each other's throats a lot for that. That's for sure. So anyway, skip to July. 4th of July weekend, the busiest weekend you could possibly think of. We ended up having to leave that house because obviously it's her house. She didn't want us living there anymore. So now we stayed in this crummy hotel. It was horrible. I don't remember the name of the hotel, but the floor was like wet. I had white socks on, like crystal white socks on. They turned black in 5 minutes. Yeah. So then we ended up going to another hotel in Seaside, and that was a heck of a lot nicer. Stayed there for a couple days, I think like 2 or 3 days. And by then we were back to work. My manager gave us our same hours back. Bless his heart. So yeah, now we're in October 20. No, now we move into my other mom, our other friend Magna, who she's a sweet lady. She catches cats, traps them, neuters them. Yeah. By the way, it's like 10 o'clock at night that I'm doing this live stream, so excuse the lighting. Um, yeah, it's not fun. So we ended up staying at her house until we finally found this apartment. Um, so we've been living in this apartment for now a year. Um, it will be, what are we in? November. We just passed the 1 year mark in August. So there's that. But yeah, as you can see, the past like 2, 4, 5 years have not been good. Um, I just recently discovered, if you guys know, One Direction is no longer a band, and then Liam Payne just recently passed away. So much has happened since I left YouTube. It it's crazy. It's cray cray. Like Twitter isn't even Twitter; it's X. Um, it's I don't know. I think it's ridiculous how much shit has changed. I think it's pretty sad, actually. So anyway, if you guys following along the story of my cerebral palsy, once again, follow me on Instagram. You guys know I had surgery. Um, this is hereditary, so TMI. I have two bunions on my toes. Okay, on my big toes. So imagine these are my toes. This is the bunion. And early this year, I believe it was July. I think the week before 4th of July. I believe it was. Yes. So earlier this year, July 1st, 2024. I'm looking at the date at the bottom of my computer. We went to go see a foot and ankle doctor. And he told me, wear wide shoes. He knows there's two options. I could wear wide shoes or I could have surgery. We opted with the first one. I had to wear I'm 7.5. He said wear like an 8 wide. So that's what I did. Those are the ones that I have on now. I'm not going to show you. My bunion, if you guys don't know, it was pushing up against the side of my shoe. So, I thought my mom was awake. It was causing me an immense amount of pain. I mean, I would take my shoe off and the foot, my whole bunion, TMI, was red. So yeah, that was fun. So I ended up going in for surgery on September 16th, 2024. I have been out ever since. I go back next month, actually, to work. Um, I was on bed rest for 5 days because he had me in a soft cast. And then he put me in a hard cast, and that was a nightmare. Well, if you guys know, you know, if you have like an itch. He also had to stretch my Achilles tendon because my left foot was so super tight that he had to stretch the Achilles tendon. I know, it freaked me out just as much. If you guys go on my phone is charging, so I can't go get it. But if you guys follow me on Instagram, you can see like the scars and like how my foot looked. If you guys aren't squeamish or have a foot fetish, so yeah, I really want to try and make more YouTube videos, but I just really haven't had content. My life has been freaking upside down and left and right. Yeah, it just not fun. But I'm in a good place now, you know. I'm a lot better, that's for sure. Um, yeah. But anyway, I was getting back to my thing. I was in an air boot. I am now walking slowly but surely without the air boot. But I have to be, you know, careful of like how much I do. Obviously, I don't want to hurt myself too much. So I go back to see him next Wednesday. I'll probably do an update on Twitter, not Twitter, Instagram. Follow me on Instagram if you guys want to see. My Instagram is AmeliaWeb24. That's another thing. I got hacked. It was great. Earlier this year, I believe it was in May, my friend texted me from work saying, "Are you asking for money?" I said no. And this guy that I was texting, he texted me and and please don't do this. He somehow got my email and hacked into my Instagram, my Facebook, and my emails. So all like 200 and something of my Facebook friends were getting messages of pretending to be me asking for money, which I would never, ever, ever do. Even if I was homeless on the street, I would never ask people for money. That's not me. That is not how I was raised. And it was just, it really hurt because my old Facebook, if you know, you know, had pictures of me, my dad, my grandma, like old pictures of my animals that I've had back when I was a kid. You know, that's all gone. And of course, it drained me. It hurt. But luckily, I made a new Instagram. A week later, I got my old one back. Yeah, that was fun. So I got my old Instagram back, which, hallelujah. It's all about 5 seconds of summer at this point. Because if you guys don't know, I watched them recently, and by recently I mean last year, when they did Live from the Royal Hall. And honestly, I forgot about them since like 2015. I'm not even kidding you. I listened to like their song Teeth when it came out in 2019. But then like after that, I kind of forgot about them. And like ever since that time I watched them at the Royal Hall, I've become obsessed with 5 Seconds of Summer again. I have like over 500, 700 pictures of them in my phone. I've watched like live streams, funny videos. I look up like little things about them. Nothing like where they were born or like shit like that. Like I'm starting to get back into them, so I listen to them constantly. My favorite album is Sounds Good Feels Good. My favorite song is Outer Space / Carry On. So yeah, they've been like my go-to band for like the last year. So they're all I listen to nowadays. Literally, I have like a playlist of all of their songs. So I know they're never gonna see this live stream, but if you guys happen to see this live stream, Luke, Callum, Michael, Ashton, you guys are amazing. If you guys know, Luke came out with his second album, Boy. Oh my god, that's a beautiful album. I believe it was in March. Ashton just recently came out with his second album, Blood on the Drums. It came out on my 24th birthday, June 4th. That was like the best birthday gift ever. Blood on the Drums, Breakup. Oh, good songs. Yeah, if you guys just so happen to watch this, I'm sure you guys aren't, but if you do, you guys have saved me. Not like in like a suicidal way. I've never been suicidal. I never have, and I never will be. That's a lie. I actually have thought of depressing things in my past, put it that way. I've never had a bad childhood. My childhood was exquisite. But ever since my dad passed away, it kind of just like flopped on me. But it is what it is. It's life. We move on. We go. Shit like that. Yeah, I've been live for 42 minutes. We're going to make this an even 45. I'm going to try to. If not, we'll just make it an even 50. But I, for one, owe you guys thanks because you guys have your music really uplifts me in a way. Oh, makes me happy. So, thank you guys. Yeah, I don't really know what else to say. Oh, so again, last time I had this tattoo, and then I had the Winnie the Pooh one. Then turn the camera a little bit. I had this one, which has my 3 dogs and then my childhood cat. You guys see that? Okay. Since then, I have gotten, scared me, 3 new tattoos. This one, if you guys know, I love Jack Skellington, so I got him. Yes, I got just his head. Then I got this one with my mom. We got matching tattoos. They are 2 elephants hugging. And then I got Scar because Scar is my favorite villain in the Disney franchise. My favorite movie is Lady and the Tramp. So, okay, we're almost at 45 minutes. Nobody watched this live stream. Nobody. But you know what? I don't care. I needed to get a lot of things off my chest that I've just been bottled up with. Ever since my dad passed, just things kept piling up. But, yeah. I hope to make more YouTube videos. I'm going to try. We'll see. I'm going back to work next month. I'm going to try. But, yeah. Love you guys so much. Thanks for the support. Follow me on Instagram for like what you say. That being said, I love y'all. Good night.